Hey everyone, how's it going? I think
Hi.
hey, um, thanks everyone for joining today. We're super stoked to see you all.
I'd like to.
Hello. We've got some really cool things on the plan for today. Um, just want to say welcome to everyone first. And I've introduced myself. So my name is Tobias. I work with Farmwall, and I'm helping you guys all with the resilience growing program that you're doing, and making sure that all the stuff is in order for this session today. So we've got a cool agenda lined up. I'm just going to run through a few little house rules for how we like to do things here. So it's so good to see. I think everyone has their screen, their camera on for the looks, which is awesome. We all want to see each other's big smiles. So if you can keep your camera on, that would be awesome. But for the parents out there, maybe just can you make sure that the computer stays on mute when we're doing, unless we have a section where we open up and ask questions. That just makes it easy to hear when someone's talking, so that we can all listen well. Yeah, and let's just be nice to each other as well. Cool. So, who here was in the session last week? Did anyone join us last week, or have we got? Yeah, Xanthi, I remember. It's good to see you again. Looks like we've got some new faces in here as well, which is super cool. Like Emily, who's going to be speaking a bit today. So get excited to hear from her. We're going to start by going to G though. One thing that we're going to do today is we're going to learn how to seed alfalfa sprouts. So we sent out an email to the parents yesterday with a little list of things that are needed for this course. So we hope everyone's grabbed the things. I'll just run through them quickly. So if you want to go grab them now, so that you're ready if you don't have them yet. So the first thing you're going to need is a glass jar like this, just a clean jar, empty. Yeah, nice. I can see a few jars there. The next thing, your alfalfa sprouts. You want a small bowl,
I'll get
a rubber band, and a piece of cloth as well. So just any kind of thin cloth will do. Any kind of piece of scrap cloth or something will work really well for that. And that's all you need. And we're going to get more into that later, but just make sure you have all those things. I saw some people have, yeah, nice. I can see some stuff on the screens there. Everybody's got their things. So that's awesome to see. Okay. G, how about you take it from here? I've unmuted you. Yep.
Bye. Good afternoon, everyone. So good to see you all again. It's a good day to learn again about some fun ways to grow food at home. And today we're going to look at sprouting alfalfa sprouts and what the benefits of that are for ourselves and for the planet as well. I've got a very special guest, Miss Carol from the Richmond High School, who's joining us today in the conversation. And Miss Carol is a very good friend of mine, and she's been involved with Farmwall for a long time already, and been volunteering on the farm in Alphington. And today she's gonna join in on the conversation. Maybe I'll pass it on to you, Emily, to Miss Carol. Sorry.
It's okay. So hi everybody. My name's Miss Carol, and I'm a teacher, and I teach innovation and I teach art. But with innovation means taking something and improving it to make life better. And I hear that you guys are doing all of that in this class. So I'm really excited to see what you've been up to. In today's class, we're going to, first of all, we're going to look at your fabulous drawings. Second of all, we're going to learn kind of about what zero hunger means. We're going to do some problem solving. And then to finish off with, we're going to do an awesome activity. So I'm going to ask for some hands up and I'm also going to ask for you to kind of answer some questions. So what I thought we might sort of start off with, and I can already see James and Abby holding up a fantastic drawing there. I'm going to ask us to explain what we've done. And for everybody else, I want you to think about which one is your favourite. So I might start with James and Abby to explain what was the problem you solved and what was your superpower? So if I can take you off the mute, James and Abby, so that they can talk.
There we
What
go.
did you do then?
Well, it's connected, isn't it?
So Abby, James, what was your superpower?
You could just tell them. Here we go. How are you not talking?
It's connected, but
Maybe Mum and Dad can tell us
Yeah,
what your superpower was.
we can hear you. We can hear you clearly.
Talking with the sound here. Hello?
it's disconnected.
We can hear you guys.
Mute
Maybe we'll come back to that group of people. Let's go over to, is it Xanthi? Hi Xanthi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
That's really good. Can you please tell me what the problem that you solved was and what the name of your superpower was?
My bad, apparently, that that's not been done.
That's okay.
But you want to tell them about your superhero car that you invented at school? Just quickly. Hello. Okay. So Xanthi invented a superhero car at school that runs on good deeds.
Oh, wow.
So that's the fuel, yeah. And that's pretty cool. And she's got a photo of a picture of it in a competition and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Well, maybe Xanthi, you can send that through to the Farm Wall team at some point, because I'm sure they would love to find out about all of that stuff. Fantastic. Okay, Finn and Darcy. Who have I actually got? Have I got Finn here or is it Darcy?
What's your name?
Darcy. Hi, Darcy.
Finn's that way.
Oh, Dad, I think that Finn and Darcy are a little bit shy today, but can you tell me, have they done any of the colouring in?
We're a little bit over technology after lots of homeschooling. They haven't done it. Was that last week's activity or something?
It was last week's activity.
So we weren't on it. We haven't caught up.
Not to worry. I'm wondering whether Tarek, Tarek, hi. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm really well. Thank you so much for asking. Now, did you do the activity, last week's activity?
No.
No? That's okay. That's something that if you haven't done it, you might like to go back to and do it another stage. But it's all really about having some fun whilst we're learning. Okay, so I think we'll kind of just move on from there. And I've got a really big question for everybody. Do you think that we're going to be able to answer it? It's a really big question. Right. Now, I want you to think with Mum and Dad, together with Mum and Dad, what do you think zero hunger is? I think we're going to have to break it up because it's a pretty big question. So we might break it up into what is hunger first. Xanthi's got your hand up. What do you think it is?
Like poverty, people that
We can't use audio.
don't have enough money to eat food.
We can't unmute.
Wow, Xanthi, that's a pretty great answer. So what do you think if you can't eat? So you think it's people who are in poverty don't have enough money to eat food?
Yeah.
Could you help me?
I'll get mine going.
Zero
Hello?
hunger. What do you think what does the word zero mean?
Like not getting people with poverty into homes and food so they can actually have money to buy food.
Wow, you're so clever. So you mean stopping having that hunger?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I'm going to ask Darcy a question. Hey, Darcy. Still being a little bit shy. Hey, Darcy, How many people do you reckon go hungry every night? How many people do you think might go hungry every night in the world? Oh, Abby might know. Abby, how many people do you think?
20.
20. I think that's a really good guess. Does anybody else have another guess? What about you, Tarek? How many people in the world do you think might go hungry every day?
Mostly, maybe 30.
30. That's another great guess. Does anybody else want to have another guess? Sandy?
Like 5,000.
5,000. I think we're getting warmer. Darcy, you want to have another go?
3,000.
15,000. Yep, I think we're getting warmer. Tarek?
1,020.
1,020. What's your sister's name, Tarek?
Shania.
Shania. How many people, sweetie?
There's 7.7 billion people in the world. How many do you think?
Oh, there's the maths going on. James, how many people?
31.
31. Okay, so I think we're a bit of a clever bunch. But I think we might need to hear from an expert that knows a little bit more about what this zero hunger stuff is and how many people it affects. So how about we hand it back over to G, and he's going to give us some facts, and then we might have a few more questions, or you might have some questions after you hear. So I'm going to have to ask you, I know it's really boring when you have to sit and not talk for ages, but he's going to tell you some things, and I want you to maybe have a think about either keeping it in your memory, some of the good facts, so that you can tell me back what those facts were, or writing them down. And then I'm going to, after G talks, I'm going to see Abby's beautiful picture. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's hand it over to G.
Thanks, Emily. Tobias, would you be able to share the screen, or shall I do it from my end?
I can do it. If you just let me know when you want me to change the page.
Yeah, I will. Tobias is going to help me out here. So really good guess, guys. And it's like when Emily said it was warmer and warmer and warmer as we went up. There's actually a lot of people in the world that are that are hungry. And the exact number, I forgot to write million in the presentation, but there's 820 million people in the world on a daily basis that are undernourished and nutritionalized. So it means that a lot of people in the world go to bed hungry every day. And of them, there's a lot of kids as well. And because everything that's been happening in the world in the last couple of months, that number is going to increase, and 130 more people are at risk of being hungry on a day-to-day basis. So nutrition is very important for us to keep us healthy and happy. And from the moment we're not have enough nutrition in our lives, then we can get sick. And it actually, malnutrition, which means not having enough nutrition, is causing a lot of people in the world to be hungry and to get ill. So the United Nations have made a goal by 2030 that sets in 10 years to end hunger for everyone in the world. So we've got to find solutions in the next 10 years to find a way to stop people being hungry in the world, and find a solution for those 820 million people to get good nutrition into their day-to-day environments. Can you go to the next slide, Tobias? So why is it you reckon that they're undernourished? There's multiple reasons for that. One is because of climate change. It's changing the conditions they live in, and it's no longer easy for them to find the food to feed their families. And it also makes it harder to grow food, because often the places where they used to grow their food are no longer suitable to grow food. And that pushes the food prices up, making it very expensive for them to actually being able to buy food for their family. And that causes limited accessibility to have food. And because there's no jobs and poor education, they can't afford to buy food that's offered on the market at a very high price. Yeah, Tobias, can go to the next one. So the goal is to have, for all families, to have enough food that is safe and nutritious. So as all of us together, we got to find solutions and create more work and better resilience for the families in need. We need to increase their accessibility to fresh food and grow food security, which means making it more consistent for people to have all their daily nutrition available for them. So one way to do that is by teaching people how to grow their own food and how to increase their nutritional intake, and also how to increase sustainable and regenerative agriculture, so that the places where we grow our food, we can continue to do that. Yep. So how can you and your parents start today? It's by motivating your mom and dad and asking your mom and dad to go shopping, not at Coles or Woolworths, but at the local farmers markets and buying off the local farmers. Also avoiding food waste and making food choices where you know where the food's coming from and who's made it and who's been paid a fair price for it. And making sure that nothing goes to waste, that we eat all our food on a daily basis, and make sure if we don't eat it, we turn it into something else, like compost. So growing our food is very important. So we need to learn how to do that. And today we're going to learn to grow food by sprouting. And sprouting is an amazing way, an amazing quick way to grow nutrition right into our kitchen. On to you, Tobias.
Actually, Tobias, just before you go ahead, just so the kids kind of, just so we can recap kind of what G has said, if you wouldn't mind just putting us back on the screen where we can all see each other. Hey kids, can anyone tell me how many people now go hungry? How many people go hungry? Oh, James, you can tell me.
0.
0? No, 0. Nobody goes hungry. Well, that's what we want to achieve.
You're living in the future.
That's what we want to achieve. So you're way ahead of the game. Tarek?
950.
950. Xanthi?
No.
8 million.
I think it was like 130 million. So millions and millions and millions of people are going hungry every day. But how do we solve this problem? And I think G talked about how we might solve this problem. Can anyone remember how we might solve this problem? Abby, how might we solve this?
Maybe like we could give people a turn when they already had one turn.
You're so clever, Abby. Yep, definitely. Did anybody else know? Xanthi?
Go to local food markets and like donate to them, like poor people on the streets and that.
Absolutely. So we're going to our local markets, we're donating. Yes, sweetie? What was your name? What was your name again? Tarek, what was your sister's name?
Shania.
Oh, Shania. What did you think?
If you dance enjoy it, and you can watch.
Yeah, that's true. You can watch people planting things. Darcy, do you know what we might do? What about you, James? What should we do?
When we see someone poor, we could just give some food to them.
That's
some healthy
true.
food.
That is so true, and I think you're onto something. So do we know what nutrition is?
Yeah.
What is nutrition, Xanthi?
It's like not eating like chips and that, but eating healthy food like fruit and vegetables.
So food, right? So how do we get food? How do we get food, guys? Oh, James knows. James?
But by By planting food.
Oh, we've got some geniuses here, guys. We've got some absolute geniuses. How do we plant food? How does that work? Yes, 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 yes. Tarek, your sister knows.
You're still in kindergarten. She knows nothing.
She knows everything. Abby, how does it work?
Seeds.
Yes.
By spicy. Spicy. By planting. Planting seeds.
Planting seeds. Oh my God, ding, 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 ding. That is so clever. So that's amazing. So we know that there are millions and millions and millions of people who are really hungry, but we also know that we can plant seeds in the ground to provide nutrition. How do we get those? How do we make sure that people overseas that don't have seeds can plant those seeds in the ground? What could we do? What could we do to help? What could we do, Xanthi?
We could go over there and start like farming crops and that for them.
We could, but during this time when we're not allowed to fly, how else could we get them there? How else might we get them there? Yes, Tarek.
Like if people like you can like give them some food.
Yeah, how could we give them that food? Darcy, you had your hand up.
But if you like, if they don't have money, that means you can like buy it for them.
That's true. That's true. That's absolutely correct. Darcy, were you going to say something?
Mail and then take it to them.
How could we take it to them at the moment?
You can't. So that you don't take it to them.
Mailman.
The mail does.
Ah, that's such a clever idea. Oh my gosh, I don't think that G and Tobias need to really run this company anymore. I think you guys could actually run this company and you could save the world.
Okay.
That's it, guys.
Sounds good to me.
So clever. Well done, everyone. Well, I'm going to...
Can Xanthi's mum just add that Xanthi felt a bit funny eating her lunch while those statistics and stuff are up? But it's these guys here on the screen all eating their clever nutrition that's going to help them to do all these awesome stuff the world needs.
Yeah, and I must say that sometimes it's a bit scary to hear some of those facts, and I thought, you know, like saying some of those facts is a little bit scary, but we've got to think about the positives about our world, not about the doom and gloom, but how we can actually help and all the positives. So you're not to feel too bad, okay? It's about all the happy things. So I'm going to hand back over to Tobias because G and Tobias know all this really interesting information. So Tobias is going to tell you a little bit more about those seeds that we're talking about, and then he's going to run an activity about how you can be the growers of your own food. So I'm going to say goodbye and I'm going to watch, but thank you so much for teaching me so much, guys. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Emily. That was really fun. One way that I like to make sure I do my part is I try to eat all my food on my plate and try not to waste anything. Or if I have to, I will make sure it goes into the compost. It makes really good compost to grow more food and happy plants. Yeah, so you got everything you guys are saying was super awesome. Really great answers. And one of the things that we can do to make sure that the people in other countries who need food, one of the great ways we can do that is by teaching them or by giving people the things that they need to grow food themselves. And that's what we're going to learn today. We're going to learn how to grow alfalfa sprouts. And when you're doing it, you could try imagine what it would be like if we were able to send our little jars with all the seeds and everything ready to someone who needed it, and then they could do the sprouting for themselves there. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Yeah, I can see some nods. Thanks, James. So I'm actually going to pass to G, who's going to run the alfalfa sprouting exercise. So I hope everyone's got all their resources ready, all the jar, your seeds, the cloth, and the bowl. And G is going to tell us how we can sprout. Well, firstly, he's going to tell us what sprouting is, and then he's going to tell us how we can sprout our very own alfalfa. So take it away, G.
Can we maybe start by everybody pronouncing alfalfa as quickly as possible?
Alfalfa. Alfalfa.
Say it 5 times.
Alfalfa. Alfalfa.
Alfalfa.
Alfalfa. Alfalfa.
Can we try it even quicker? 3 times in a row.
Alfalfa. Alfalfa.
Yeah, I always struggle. My first language is Dutch, but also then to do it in English and as quick as you guys are doing it, it's always like
Bit of a tongue twister.
oh, good to see that you all have your tools ready and your seeds. So we're going to learn how to do sprouting today. So sprouting is a really cool way to turn our food into a highly nutritious produce. It's often known that sprouting can increase the nutrition multiple times by turning your seeds into a sprout. So when we're growing greens, and what you will be doing with your farm or home fish tank as well, is we're always germinating, sprouting, and then growing them into plants. We can't eat any of our seeds that we're using in the farm or home as sprouts. So when we want to eat seeds as sprouts, we've got to use a different technique. And today we're going to teach you the technique on how to do that. So the first step is to take your jar. Already prepared mine.
Maybe could you hold that nice and close to the camera, G?
Is are all your jars really clean? Have you washed them before?
Yeah.
Yeah? Check again. Yeah, clean jar.
You're going to stand up now.
And then
Mine smells a bit funny still.
we've got alpha seeds. So we've got enough alfalfa seeds in there to do 2 sprouting sessions. So there's 4 tablespoons of alfalfa in here. So today we want half a pack. So we want 2 tablespoons of alpha seeds and put them in our jar.
So are we opening our seed packs, G?
Yep, you're opening a seed pack.
I'll just put them in so you can pour it in.
And you can either use your tablespoon and fill your tablespoon, but make sure be very
There's a
careful.
tablespoon.
Tiny. They're really, really small. They're going to try to run away if you don't have your tablespoon level.
Maybe. I'm not really sure. I can expect to go.
We're pouring half there. Pour it in there.
All right. I don't have a tablespoon, G. Can I just pour it in?
Yeah, half
Do
the
half.
bag, guys. Doing great, guys.
Okay.
Just put it down. I can see it.
So when we're sprouting, we're looking for we're gonna keep the seeds in a hygienic environment. So it needs to be really clean all the time.
Okay, Abs, you're going to hold for a bit, and James, you're going to hold for a bit, okay?
And now we're gonna add half a cup or like half a cup or a fourth, like a quarter of a cup of clean water from the tap.
Clean quarter of a cup.
Clean one for me.
All right, James, you do this one.
Got my water here in my drink bottle. I think that'll work.
I wouldn't advise using a drinking bottle, Tobias, because that's one could have bacteria from your mouth, from your saliva.
What are you saying about it?
Sprouting is a clean process, so you want to use fresh water from the tap.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
By bacteria.
Actually, now.
And then you can have a tension.
And now we need a kitchen sieve
Kitchen sieve.
to kind of remove the water again. Give it a good swirl.
We kind of swill it
So
Like that?
we're gonna washing our seeds.
What, you want to wash it, James? Give 'em a little whip.
You got to make the seed do a little dance around the jar like that, and then maybe sing them a song. At the same time.
Alpha dance.
Yeah.
No, in the seeds, and then you mix that. Maybe it'll be beautiful.
And now we'll have to remove the water from the jar. So we can either do that with a little sieve, or we can pour it out as much as we can without the seeds out of the jar. They don't have to be completely drained. If there's a bit of water remaining, that's fine.
You pour it and then Abby do the next bit. You got it?
Yeah, you're doing great, guys. Cool. If there's any seeds left in the jar, they can stay there because that means that they're drained. And then then the seeds go back into the jar, and we're gonna fill it up with water again for the second time.
Then Abby's turn.
Fill that with water.
Yeah. Great job. And now we're gonna do the same process. Another quarter of a cup of water, adding back to the jar.
Abby's turn now, James. You got it? James, Abby's turn now. Pour it in there. Swirl it around a little bit.
Awesome. Looking good, guys. Looking good.
I'll hold this.
Everyone's jar filled with water again? Oh no, James and Abby are still rinsing. Are they sticky, the seeds?
Yep, seeds going back in the jar. How many times are we doing this rinsing, G?
Just one rinse and then back in the jar, and then we'll fill it back up with water, and then the water can stay in from the second time.
How's yours looking, Tarek? How's yours looking?
Can you show us?
Let's have a look.
Very good.
Ah,
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. Cool.
Very good.
how is yours, Abby?
And good work.
What we're gonna do now is we've got our piece of cloth. Yep. And we're gonna put that over our jar and then use our rubber band to tighten the cloth around the top of the jar. So it means that air will be able to go into the jar, but the seeds won't be able to come out. So we're keeping them in there, and we're going to create a good environment for them, where they're getting a lot of moisture, but also enough air to breathe, so they can keep fresh and healthy.
Kind of looks like an awesome hairstyle.
Yeah.
For the jar.
I think we actually have that in some parts of the world.
Looks awesome.
Great, guys. And now, I know it wasn't part of the ingredient list, but if you have a Sharpie or a marker somewhere, we can mark the name Alpha Alpha on the jar and the date. What is today's date? Who knows what day it is?
I got my one.
Yeah. Do you know, Tarek, which date we are today?
23rd, 23.
That's
23?
right.
Yeah. I didn't know that, so thank you. So we mark the date. And on the other end of the jar, we're gonna write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 all the way down. Because it's going to take us 6 days to make sure that the alfalfa sprouts are ready to eat. Today is day 1. And we're going to soak the seeds now in the water that they are. They're going to stay in the water till tomorrow morning. You're going to find a nice dark spot in the cupboard somewhere. Nice, Tobias, yeah.
Thank you, G. So every day we get to cross off one of the numbers, right?
Yeah. And we want 2 tallies of every day. You're gonna mark the numbers with 2 tallies. So 2 stripes.
First one number.
One in the morning and one in the evening.
Yeah.
And the tallies stand for rinsing.
Wait.
We're gonna rinse the sprouts every day 2 times. Once in the morning and once in the evening.
How do we rinse our seeds, G?
Yeah. Have we all finished with the marking of the jar?
Put your hand up when you've finished done your marking on your jar, guys, then we'll know. Or maybe even put your hands on your heads. Give it a bit of a massage. You've done some brain work. Oh, it feels so good. Oh, yeah. Abby, I like what you're doing there. That's awesome.
The whole pat your head.
I think I can do that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm going the same way.
Well, other way. Oh.
How are you going, Finn? Are you almost there? Need a bit more time? Just a little bit more time. Yeah. I need somebody to tell me what you have to do because I've forgotten. Oh, Xanthi, tell me what we were going to do.
You have to rinse the seeds once in the morning and once in the evening every day.
Every day. Oh, thank God you told me. Thank goodness. Yes, excellent. That's good. I'm glad someone was listening. Right.
How many days is it for again, Xanthi? I can't remember.
6.
6, that's right. Yeah.
So on day 1, which is today, is soaking. So we're soaking alfalfa first, so they're going to be submerged in water till tomorrow morning. And from tomorrow morning, they're going to be drained. And we're going to rinse them twice a day. So I'll show you how to do that. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, you're going to grab your jar and turn it over into your bowl. Like that.
Oh.
Tomorrow morning. So I'm just showing it to you now, but we'll send you the video today so you can look at it again tomorrow. See? And now we're gonna tap our little jar onto the kitchen bench 3 times. And we're taking our cloth off, our little head, and we're gonna put our jar under the tap and put our cloth on again. And make sure our bowl is empty. Turn our jar over into the bowl again, so it will drain. Get rid of the water, and then leave the jar sitting in the bowl like this till the evening, till you're going to do that process again. And that process we're going to repeat twice a day for the 5 next days. So the first day was soaking, and then the next 5 days we're going to rinse them twice a day. And you're going to see them start sprouting at day 2 or 3. And during those first days, we want to keep them in the dark. So we got a kitchen cloth. And the best way to keep them in the dark, if you don't have a dark spot for them, is to wrap a kitchen cloth around it like this before we put it in the bowl. See? And if we have it sitting in the bowl like this on the kitchen bench, then they're nice and dark and they're aerated and they're in a warm place. or you can leave the cloth off and just put it in a dark spot somewhere. But make sure there's enough ventilation in the space for your seeds to breathe.
Does
Does that
anyone
make
know
sense,
why we
Carol?
need to put the seeds in the dark? Can anyone tell me? Ooh, I think Abby. I'll unmute you. Why do we need to put the seeds in the dark, Abby?
I'm a little bit scared of the dark.
Me too.
Well, the
Is it so
good
that
news
you can?
is the seeds are not scared of the dark at all. In fact, they really like the dark. Does anyone know why? Xanthi, maybe?
Is it so they can germinate properly?
That's correct. Great. That's a really good answer. Do you know what germinate? Can you tell us what germination is?
It's like when the seed comes out of its pod and starts to sprout.
Very good. That's correct.
And what does a seed need to germinate?
Is it so dark, water, air? I think that's all I know.
Oh my gosh, so clever.
Heat, a bit of like room temperature, 22 degrees. And then we need one more.
Sunlight?
Oh, it has to stay in the dark.
Yeah.
We call it TLC.
What's tea?
You know what TLC stands for, guys?
That's embarrassing, G.
Tender, love, and care. So every time when we're germinating seeds, we're going to make sure that we give them all the tender love and care that they need. So it's very important during this process that we do every morning and every evening. We wash and drain our seeds and put the cloth back on top. And over the next 5 days, you'll have very happy, healthy alfalfa sprouts. And what you get when you get very happy alfalfa sprouts, they're going to make you very happy and healthy as well.
Awesome. And then what happens at day 5 or day 6? We get to eat them, right?
Absolutely.
How would you recommend eating them, G? What's your favorite way?
You can add them to everything because they're fresh and they're healthy. So you'll have a nice jar full of alfalfa sprouts. So you can eat them. You can eat them at breakfast by topping them on your eggs and toast. You can eat them for lunch by adding them to your sandwich, to your roll or your salad. And you can even add them to dinner. So they're such an easy way to use, and you can use them on top of everything. But they're very healthy and delicious in a salad.
Hey, G, I think you've had some questions on the chat.
Oh.
So just to confirm, Xanthi wanted to know, is it only today that they sit in the water?
Yes, yeah, just for today. So by tomorrow morning, they no longer need to sit in the water.
Maybe this is a good time, if you're still a little bit confused, that you ask some questions. Anybody confused, or we think we've got it? Good.
I see some thumbs up. That's awesome.
Oh, excellent. Oh,
I have one question actually. I've noticed that. Well, I wrote my numbers on the side of the jar, but I was wondering, can I also write it on the top here, or is that not a good idea, G? What do you think about that?
That's not a good idea because you actually want to keep that cloth very clean. And as the water is going to come in and out of the cloth, it's going to get wet and it's going to dilute your ink. And the ink might actually go into your seeds, and then you don't want to digest the ink from your Sharpie.
Okay. So if I've written on the cloth already, maybe I could just move it over a bit so that it's on a part, or get a new piece of cloth that doesn't have ink on it.
Yeah, preferably. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Good to know. Awesome. Does anyone else have any questions? Oh, yep. Tarek. Oh, sorry. I just muted you. Here we go.
You know how I eat my alfalfa?
No, we'd love to know. Tell us.
Like, so, you know, it comes out from the jar, right? I just like dip my head in it and eat it.
That's so funny.
Like this?
I want to see Abby's picture again, just before we move on. I want to see Abby's picture.
Yeah, let's see it.
Oh, that is so good. Hey, James, can you read what your sister said about the picture? What's the superpower?
There you go. You said
Lightning.
Lightning. Ooh, that's the best.
Lightning helping people what?
what is
Helping people save them.
Um,
Oh, I'm so proud of that picture. That's awesome.
awesome. Yeah, so next week, by this time next week, you'll have your very own super sprouts in a jar. And we can all, and we'd love to see some photos of your sprouts as they grow. We're all really excited. So your parents can make any photos and share them. That would be super cool. We'd love to see it. And yeah, I'm not sure if we're wrapping up now, but maybe G, do you want to take it from here?
Hey, Tobias and G, can you tell the kids what they're going to be doing next week, just so they can get really excited about it?
You go, Tobias? Oh.
No, that's you.
Okay. Yeah, so we're going to be watering our, rinsing our sprouts twice daily, in the morning and the evening. And during the week, you can also think about the superheroes. So how are we going to use this sprouting of seeds to help us zero hunger in the world? And last week we've sent you a superhero picture. So every week we want to think about which superpowers do we need for everyone in the world to be able to do this on a regular basis. And how can we use this to help 820 million people across the world feel less hungry and better nutritionalized?
Better fed. Looks like we've got a question from Shania.
Shania, yeah.
When we get our fishes?
Great question. Very soon, in a few weeks' time, if you've been cycling your tank. Who's been cycling their tank and doing the little fish in it, the feed in it every day? Can I see some hands? Yeah. Awesome.
Tank got some
That's really cool to see.
plants, but we can eat it.
Yep, we can eat the plants that grow on our fish tank. That's super cool when we can do that. Yeah, is everyone having fun putting a little bit of fish food into their tank?
You're eating like a goat. You are eating from the tank, like a tank.
You can see Darcy is pointing to himself. I think that means that he's having fun. Awesome. So yeah.
Can I just confirm something that you just said? Sorry, Tobias.
Yep.
We're meant to be putting the fish food in every day.
No, once every 3 days. days.
Okay, and is the heater 24/7?
Yep.
Yes.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit of heat can help with the microbiology activity. It's a bit of a mouthful.
On Monday, you're going to get a video in the email about the different fish that you are going to be able to choose from. So during the week, you can talk about the fish that you're getting, because you're going to know which varieties. And by next week, we're going to choose the fish, and you can choose your 6 fish, and also start thinking about names for them. So if you already have some names in mind, like for example, one fish could be Alpha, then we've got 6 more fish to find.
I don't want to comment.
So get excited for Monday, and then next week it's going to be all about choosing your fish.
Oh my gosh, Abby, do you have a question?
like you could do it in another way, like putting it in the sun if you want.
I love that you've got so many ideas. I just think you should keep.
Or you could with like pink or purple or gold.
Sure can. I want you to have a think about, apart from those ideas, I want you to have a think about what you're going to call your fish and what type of fish you want, because I know James is already thinking about that, aren't you, James? Yeah. What are you going to call your fish, James? Do you know?
Barry.
Barry. Oh, that's the best name.
Right.
What about you, Xanthi?
We've already got lots of names to decide from.
Do you?
Yes.
Are you not going to share with the group, or are you just going to keep that a bit quiet?
We've got Phoenix, Hank, Tank, Frank, Roger, Randy, and Milo.
Oh my goodness.
Roger.
What about you guys, Terry? What are you and your
I think
sister
Frank is my
thinking?
favorite.
I have one like Ronald and Rocky
Mm.
and
Have you said Simba today?
Waterman.
Well, I know everyone can't wait to hear about it all next week when everyone meets again. And you're all super excited. I can see, like, we could go on like this all day. Honestly, we could talk about fish names all day. But I think probably everyone's probably getting a little hungry and a little needing to stretch their legs because they've been in front of the computer for an hour now. So let's just see what the boys have to say, because they might need to wrap this up. Boys, what's going to happen next?
Yeah, thanks, Emily. Yeah, gee, why don't we wrap it up? What do you think?
Yep. So that's it for today. We're gonna wait for tomorrow morning. Go back to the alpha sprouts in the morning, and start with the first rinse. And then for the next few days, we're gonna rinse them morning and evening every day. And then start having a conversation with our parents on which meals we're going to make to add the alpha to. And then by the end of the week, if we share our superheroes and our the meals that we've made, then it will be a very good week. How's everyone's farm mole people going? Have they started to grow hair already?
You got mold.
Before we go?
Wait.
Hey!
Hey, yeah. Beautiful.
My plant has fungus.
Has it? Oh no. Is it mold?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. There you go. Awesome, guys. If you,
I'm just wondering if they should be out under the light, sorry.
on the windowsill.
Ah,
Yeah, you can add them on the light. That will definitely do, but the just indirect light on the windowsill will help as well. Have you painted pretty faces? Drawn pretty faces on?
Track. One thing you can do about the mold is you can take your farm or person out of its cup for a bit and just let it dry. Let the cup
breathe.
Let it breathe, yeah. Because mold happens when the air doesn't move around very much. That's when the fungus is able to grow. So if you're able to get what we call good ventilation by taking the cup out of taking the thing, like Abby's doing, just like that. You take it out for a bit and let it get air. Then you put it back in after half an hour or something like that. Let it to get to the water.
Like, do we take out seeds out or the mud and the seeds?
See how Abby is holding her one right now?
Yeah.
Just like that. And then you can just put that on the windowsill and just let it get some air and breathe for a bit.
I know how to do it, Mum. No, I know how to without whistling.
All right, guys. I think it's time to wrap it up. It's been so much fun.
Oh,
Have a great Saturday.
Bye. Bye.
See you all next
Bye.
week and seeing your alfalfa sprouts, right?
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.